The 4x100 meter heats at the World Championships are over. And as far as I'm concerned, this was must-see TV, because I know that passing your way through to the final, literally passing the baton to get there, is not easy for every nation in the world. America and Jamaica, let's be honest, are supposed to be the fastest teams on both the men's and the women's sides. So I was closely watching these prelims because I wanted to know what was going to happen. We know that there are other competitors. Those nations are going to be Canada, Great Britain, for the most part on the men's side more than on the women's side. Great Britain does their thing. Like, we also know that there's, other competitors like Spain on the women's side. Like, yes, other nations run fast. But if America and Jamaica just do what they're supposed to do, once again, for both the men and the women, they will be in the final and they'll be competing for gold and silver. So I'm just going to hop into it because, yes, a bunch of things went left. And I'm going to focus on those things more than anything else. So I'll tell you the good, and then I'll give you the bad. That's how we're going to do this. It's a good news, bad news situation. As far as the women are concerned, it's a little bit more straightforward because America and Jamaica were in separate heats. Jamaica goes first. They go out there with a team that has the Clayton twins, but you don't see Sharika Jackson and we don't see Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. We know that at least one of them, if not both, will show up in the final, but that's that. And they did qualify for the final. They won their heat, it really wasn't that close, and they executed. Going off of memory, the time was about 41.8 seconds. Again, it was just a clean race. Maybe not perfect, but clean. By the time they get to the anchor leg, they're clear in front, they make a comfortable pass, and they just run it on home. And when we get to the second heat, we get no disrespect to the other nations, but when Jamaica's that far out, I mean, yes, other people got to qualify and show up to the final, but we know that you likely don't have much of a shot. I mean, unless you know something we don't, because they've got, more speed they can add if they really want to, not less. And they already took care of business. So it's their race to lose, aside from whatever happened in Heat 2. And America goes out there, and the American relay, because I am American, I'm going to tell you who was on it. Chase Sears runs the first leg. As far as we know, she's standing in for Melissa Jefferson Wooden. TT Terry runs the second leg, Kayla Wright runs the third leg, and Sha'Carri Richardson anchors it. She's been anchoring for a while, and we know what she's capable of. That race, once again, goes about as well as one could hope. The passes were clean, and there was really never a doubt that America was going to win this race. By the time Sha'Carri Richardson gets the stick, she's way out in front. Now, behind her are the teams that we know can threaten for the podium. But I say threaten because, again, we're talking about the best versus the rest. And I guess the top of the pile for the rest would be Spain and Great Britain. They do it for different reasons because Great Britain does have some sprinters that people recognize who make finals on the world stage on a regular basis. Spain, nowhere near to the same degree, but they figure out how to pass the stick. So when we're looking at the final, those are the names that probably stand out at the top. I'd recognize, I think Italy had an injury on the women's side. I mean, some other things weren't ideal, but fundamentally, there's only two heats, and the teams that were supposed to make the final with a shot to get, gold and silver, they're there. And now we get to the men. Here we go. I kind of knew something was going to go left. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew something was going to go left when the men's relays went off. And Jamaica and USA were in the same heat. Heat 1. So basically, nothing against Heat 2, but Heat 1 was where the action was going to go down. And I wanted to see what both teams were going to do, and I'm actually going to narrate this from start to finish, because I want you to see it through my eyes. So, Jamaica and USA, they're both out there. South Africa, Italy, these teams are also on the track. They are, let's just clarify. And all of them believe they can be in the final. These are teams that have won medals on the world stage in the last few years. Like, this is a real loaded heat. When the gun goes off, Christian Coleman of America does what he does. He wins his leg, or at least for the most part, makes it look like about he's right up there because that's what we expected. He passes the stick to Ronnie Baker, and it's not a perfect pass, not by any stretch, but they do get it through. That's all that matters. Now, when we go to the final, we don't know what we're going to see because if that one was spotty and then you're about to put somebody new on that leg, from what I understand, Kenny Bednarik, and that didn't work in the Paris Olympics last year, so now we're trying it again. But regardless, we're going, that pass happens. And then Ronnie Baker runs down, gets the stick to Trayvon Bromell. Everything is going seamless for the most part. At which point, we're on the third leg now, and Ronnie Baker is coming around the bend, and so is Brendan Rodney of Canada. I didn't say anything about Canada till this point. But remember, they're the Paris Olympic champions. They have, doesn't really matter who's on that relay because they run the same guys all the time. And that group knows how to win a relay. They didn't put anybody in a world championship final this year. Just being honest. And all their athletes didn't even run well through the season, but they know who they're going with. This is really important. So Brendan Rodney is coming around the bend. Ronnie Baker's doing the best he can. But when he hands off to T. Mars McCallum, who does get the stick and starts running home, it's basically even between him and Andre DeGrasse. And who you think got that one? Andre DeGrasse of Canada pulls away to get first in that heat. Now, Team USA does qualify for the final. That does happen. But remember I told you that Jamaica was in this heat? I didn't mention them up until now. But you know I'm about to do it at this moment. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. I'm thinking to myself, wait, where's Jamaica? And then we find out they never crossed the line. And nobody really knew what happened. Then we see a shot of Oblique Seville. From what I can tell, he's on the ground. He's covering his face like, something went wrong. And I'm thinking he's hurt. And then they're trying to get the replay of what actually went down with Jamaica. I'm rewinding the feed, trying to get a better understanding. And now we figure out what went down. Jamaica ran with Akeem Blake to Oblique Seville to Raheem Ford. And all those passes happened. The first one, Akeem Blake to Oblique Seville, was good enough. And the pass to Raheem Ford, not ideal, but it happened. Just clarify, wasn't ideal, but it happened. And then the fourth pass. That was, or the last one. That was supposed to be Ford to Kashane Thompson. Now, if you remember, the World Relays, Kashane Thompson never even touched the stick. Both times they ran, he never even touched it because the pass before him was messed up. Now, a lot of things have changed on that Jamaican relay between that moment and now. But all we know is that Kashane Thompson, as far as I can tell, he leaves, and when he leaves under the mark, he leaves what looks early to me. Because it doesn't seem like they ever got close to giving him that stick. And they're out of the zone. And the moment his foot is out of the zone, it's over. He doesn't have a stick, and he's standing on the wrong side of the yellow line. That is Jamaica's relay. For the record, Jamaica is not the only men's 4x1 to butcher the relay. As far as I remember, South Africa never completed their second baton pass because Italy's second runner actually hits, the incoming leadoff leg with Sean Maswangani on leadoff, Lamont Marcel Jacobs on the second leg. So they collide. Maswangani throws his arms up, at which point he loses his momentum. Their second leg gets out of the zone, and hey, there you go. That relay is done. Don't really know what happened to Italy after that. And then Great Britain, which is in the second heat, their anchor leg just flat out leaves early. As far as I can tell, that's what happened. Ghana actually went to second heat and runs a pretty competitive time. It happens. We're not going to see them in the final. But this is the state of the relay. I am sure that I'm not going to be the only one who is going to focus on this component of what happened on the men's 4x1. But the fact that Jamaica won a year where they went 1-2 in the 100 and showed us Brian Lavelle, who apparently wasn't running the 4x1, it's not for me to get into, but yes, he's not on it. Regardless, that Jamaica, the same Jamaica that also had Akeem Blake in a Diamond League final, whether or not you care about it, he's a Diamond League final champion from the year before, they have speed, we know this. That men's Jamaica team will not be running in the final at the World Championships. How did that happen? Why did it happen? I'm not going to have that conversation in this video. I might do a follow-up later today. Who knows? But these are the facts. So yes, the USA men, they took care of business. They did get to the final. And we're about to swap out some runners. We already know this. Noah Lyles is going to run. Kenny Bednarik is going to run. For all I know, Courtney Lindsay is going to run. I don't know this to be true, but it's possible. So basically the relay we just put out there is not the relay we're going to see in the final. Just being real. And on one end, we're adding more speed. On the other, we don't really know if that speed can get around the track. Because at least this group got a time. That actually happened. The new one, we don't know what we're gonna see. Depending on the only thing we know is Christian Coleman is supposed to be there. Kenny Bednarik and Noah Lyles, I assume, are gonna be there. Don't even know who the fourth guy is technically. There's so many options about how they could play this one. Maybe it's Trayvon Bromell, maybe it's Courtney Lindsey, who knows? But this is the 4x1. This is how it goes down. USA versus Jamaica on the men's side, well, that dream is deferred at least for another year or two, because from what I know, we don't have a world championship next year, but we will get a showdown in the final on the women's side. And the Canadian men, as far as I can tell, have no plans on slowing down. They want to win another gold medal, and although I believe America has more than enough talent to take them out, we're going to actually have to execute, because I'm not doubting whether Canada's going to get to stick around and do the best possible, do it at the best possible way, or do it as fast as they possibly can, which I think is about 37:50. If you can break that, which we clearly have the talent to do, you can win. But hey, what do I know? Because nobody asked me. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your fast is a lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.